women prepare for this? Because most of them don't. Well, because the media tells them that they can have it all. Society convinces them they can have it all. Just like you've seen in these comments, these chicks believe that they could have it all. It's all a myth. They think they can have it all. There's a magical man coming to save the day. You can have the parties, the girls' nights out, and you do not have to settle. I remember I did a video of Kevin Samuels actually trying to explain this concept to a woman. Let's check it out.
Your generation has been told you can have everything and there are no limits. And your world is your oyster. If the media messages have been telling women, don't worry about it, postpone marriage, later, and you can do whatever you want, so on and so forth. Why do you think that message exists? Because one, it keeps more consumers in the market. Two, women spend more than men. The messages are for the 73% of women who spend the dollar.
It's almost like Kevin Samuels was trying to help women, right? It's crazy to think that these are the same women that rejoiced at his death. But they didn't all do that. There's some women out here that drink coffee. Trust me, I know that as a man who is engaged myself. And so what happens when you look at a woman who's hit that 30 mark, and some even sooner, and you look at her and say, you know what, I don't want what you bring to the table. I don't like what I have to deal with. Either it's too much trauma from past relationships, or another man's kids, or you earn more than me and you think that makes you qualified to be in that masculine leadership role. Well, now you're the problem. It's never she didn't make the right decisions or society lies to women. It's because of your misogyny or the patriarchy. You want a younger woman so you can control her. You don't want to be a stepdad because that's only for real men. You can't handle a strong, combative woman because you're a weak little man. Drink that tea.
No, I'll have a tea, actually.
It's never the fact that women were lied to and they don't realize that there is a point in their lives at which they should now or should have in the past prioritize on settling down with the highest value man they could attract. No, it's your fault. This is when you start becoming the problem. Now, this doesn't mean that women can't get married after 30. However, it does mean that after 30, the likelihood of a man seeing her as a great investment for marriage will be lower. So they will only pursue casual relationship with these women, and in a lot of cases won't tell them the truth and just sell them dreams. Let's get back to these comments, man. Women weren't having it with Ebony K. Williams. This woman says, but we've been told this our whole lives. Once you hit 30/35, you're looked down upon for not being married, etc. They told us to put the books before the boys because they bring babies. But when we did that, we end up scolded, questioned. Tell us, what should we have done? It's not about putting one before the other. It's about deciding what you want out of life and understanding and accepting that you can't have it all. And you got to decide what you're willing to give and take. Another guy here chimed in and said, how'd the podcast talk make it to the news? Give it a break. Somebody else here says, taking relationship advice from someone who is single with an ex-husband is a weird flex, but go off, mama. You're not having it. Another person here says, y'all ain't tired of talking about the same shit. You see, the women who are tired of these conversations are the women who understand that there's no hope. The women who are the most upset about these conversations right here are the women who supposedly don't want marriage. They see this come up, this convo, and they just, eyes are getting rolled. They don't want to talk about it. They're like, shut up. I don't know. It's kind of like there's some stuff that needs to be worked out. There's some stuff that needs to be worked on here. We got a woman here who says, Kevin Samuels grinning in his grave. Rest in peace. Another comment here says, thank God I did not. I enjoyed every bit of my 20s. We know what that means. Yes. Again, those cheeks clap fast, not slow. She goes on to say, as a single woman, and what I wanted in my 20s, I don't want in my 30s. Makes sense, guys. We just talked about this. Whatever works best for you, though. God's timing is best. Oh, they're blaming it on God now. Don't let anyone rush you into anything out of fear. No, women will be as difficult as hell in relationships. Talking about God doesn't want me to get married. No, man, you're just not ready. Another comment here says, what I got from this is that maybe we should consider dating outside of our race then. Again, this whole idea that this experience is only in the black community, which is just so wild to me. The laughing emojis: go where you are appreciated, not where you fight for leftovers. Okay, so because she was talking about black. Well, most black women want to date black men. Now, you should date whoever you love. Doesn't matter the race. Got another man who says, well, there's a lot to unpack here. Lots. Bottom line, do whatever makes you happy and never date from a scarcity mindset. That's how you settle. Again, this guy's obviously pandering to the woman narrative, and I think he runs the whole podcast with the people on stage who talk. I've reacted to a couple of their videos on here. Doing what makes you happy should not, and I'll say this for men, because overall this is a men's channel, should not be your goal as a man. Life is not about happiness. And if you think life is about happiness, you be sadly disappointed at how not happy life can get. Life's too full of too much suffering to be about happiness. Happiness is the excuse a lot of women divorce their husbands. Life is about purpose. Life is about duty. It's not about happiness. Here's another comment that says, I personally decided to focus on my education and career. I dated, but I wasn't looking for anything too serious because I felt that a relationship would derail my goals. It worked for me. That may not be the case for everyone, but for me, it was the best decision I made. Now I have the man, a great career, and business that is doing well simultaneously, something that once seemed unattainable. You have to do what's best for you and find peace in the decisions you make. Life is not one size fits all. Don't settle for the sake of a title. Such horrible advice. She's a small percentage of a lot of women's life, how they turn out here. You shouldn't look at this and assume that life's going to play out for you in this way. Settling. That word settling, man. The problem with that word settling is most women think they're better than the men who are actually better than them. Here's another comment that says, normalize not listening to people and trusting yourself and the good Lord. Listen, guys, as somebody who's been very transparent and honest since the beginning of my channel, back when I was getting 200 views in a video because these topics interested me, I was honest and said, listen, I want to eventually have a 2-parent household for children that I plan to have, and want the type of dynamic where a woman embraces her strength and power as a woman and a man embraces his strength and power as a man. And of course, I'm talking about a woman being a nurturer to her family and a man being a provider, protector, and leading. I can't help but listen to this and realize just how crazy it is out here, man, for most men, which is why I'll never shoot down like the passport bros or people want to look for different alternatives to find a wife if you still value marriage. I didn't do that myself, even though most people who hear that I proposed to my fiance in Zambia think that she is Zambian. That wasn't the case. She's American. But I support guys who go to any lengths to avoid messing with women who are literally living in delusion. This is insane. And what's crazy is that all you have to do is give a lot of these women and some of these men enough time, and they will have to drink the coffee. They will. I don't see this getting better. You cannot save them all. Invest in cat food, because there'll be a lot of women out here, a lot of lonely women out here in the future. And people like to say, well, what about men? Men are used to loneliness. Men understand what it means to be alone. Women, on the other hand, never really truly understand what that's like. It's like the story with the woman who transitioned to a man and ended up deleting herself because she experienced what it was like to be a man. You're not ready for that. Guys, listen, as always, I wish you the best. Stay safe out here, stay informed. Leave your comments down below. I appreciate you as always for checking out yet another episode of The Coffee Pot. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.